The following is a production of Stevenson Media. My fellow Houstonians, welcome to this Houston Sports State of the Union podcast press briefing. We are going to talk about our Houston Texans. Are they back? They've just gotten back-to-back wins versus very, very easily, probably the worst defenses in the league. And I understand that. However, in the last two games, really I should say in the last 5 quarters, the Houston Texans have put up 70 points. And that begs the question, is that going to be sustainable when they start playing more difficult competition? That's yet to be seen. However, I've said this multiple times while I've been doing content for the Texans over the last week. The Texans did what they were supposed to do. You are supposed to beat bad opponents, and you're supposed to beat them handily. And the Houston Texans took belt to ass to both the Tennessee Titans, mostly in the fourth quarter, and to the Baltimore Ravens there for the entire game, winning their first game in Baltimore ever. But does that mean they're back? I think we should all be cautiously optimistic about that proposition. However, CJ Stroud had the best game of his season. He looked like rookie CJ Stroud, which is crazy to say that a third-year guy looked like the rookie version of himself. And I'm saying that to say he looked better than he has been as a third-year player. But he was 23 of 27, had 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And the best thing about what I saw from CJ Stroud, aside from the 30-yard run when he made the scramble that almost scored him a touchdown, is CJ Stroud, his body language, his demeanor on the sideline. Now, I get it. You know, it's a whole lot different when you're winning than when you're losing. But I haven't liked his body language, and he just looked like he was having fun playing football again. And, you know, DeMeco Ryans was on the sideline pumping his fists, getting excited about his defense creating turnovers. And it's just, even though it's against bad teams, it's just felt different. And I want to give the Houston Texans credit, specifically DeMeco Ryans credit, because when they went 0-3, they were not stubborn about it. They didn't just say, hey, we're going to rest on our laurels. We believe in what we're doing. We're just going to keep doing it until it works, a.k.a. run into a brick wall head first. One of my least favorite sayings, because it's not true. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's actually not the definition of insanity. However, that is an example of insanity, and had the Houston Texans continued doing that, it would have been insane. I have to give them credit for, number one, understanding that this offensive line needed some shuffling. You saw both Juice Scruggs and Laken Tomlinson be switched in and out for one another in the first couple of games, and the Houston Texans have decided, it looks like, that Juice Scruggs is going to be the guy because he's the guy that's been playing the best. Ed Ingram is one of the highest rated offensive guards in the league. And Ariante Ursery, you know, going through some rookie growing pains, has gotten better every week. And then, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Titus Howard is playing very well as well. But if the Houston Texans don't decide, hey, instead of being stubborn, we're going to switch some things up, then maybe that doesn't happen. The same thing with, we saw Xavier Hutchinson get more playing time. Woody Marks get more playing time. The Houston Texans are putting guys in the game who are going to make plays. And they were rewarded for both of those. Xavier Hutchinson scored his first 2 touchdowns of his career. Woody Marks in the Titans game had a career day. And really is what helped establish that running game with that 1-2 punch of him and Nick Chubb throughout both of those games. And so all of a sudden, the running game looks competent. The passing game looks competent. And once again, we understand it's against bad competition. But however, if we see that translate against the Seattle Seahawks after this bye week, who Seattle, they're not a great team, but they're a good team. They're at 3-2 right now. Anytime you go to Seattle and you have to play in that building with the 12th man, a.k.a. those rabid fans, then it's going to be difficult. And if we see the Houston Texans go out there and execute on offense and put up 20, 30, maybe 40 points, I doubt that's going to happen. But if we just see them, the difference between the Titans' fourth quarter and the entire Ravens game versus the first 3 games of the season and the first 3 quarters of the Titans game is that the offense, even when it wasn't scoring touchdowns, just looked like a competent offense. And so I'm very optimistic that the Texans are going to be able to right this ship. The question is it too late? Hey, what up, Prescott? My guy, haven't seen you in a minute. Hey, DQ, what's up, baby? You did tell me belt to ass, and you were absolutely right. So listen, the Houston Texans, they have an opportunity. You know, we as fans were always going to be delusional. The question is it too late? That's where I was at before. I appreciate you guys joining me on the live stream. So listen, the Colts and Daniel Jones are 4-1. The Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence are 4-1. If we know one thing about both of those quarterbacks is they are going to give us a chance. They are going to give us a chance. The Houston Texans have one of the best, if not the best defense in the NFL. All this offense has to do is just be middle of the road, and they are going to have an opportunity to win every game and hopefully win several games in a row. I like that the AFC South seems more competitive, but when you look at the competition that both the Jags and especially the Colts have played, I'm not really impressed. And come, I believe, the month of November, there's going to be a lot of division games coming. We're going to find out who the cream of the crop of this division is when you have 2 games against the Indianapolis Colts. You have a game against the Jags coming up. The Colts have to play us twice and the Jags twice. So we're going to figure out just how good the AFC South is. But for me as a Texans fan, and I know that the Texans organization, the coaching staff, they're going to take this thing one game at a time. Go up to Seattle on Monday Night Football, and for once and all, please don't embarrass yourself on national television. If we see this offense come out and look the way they did the first 3 weeks of the season in prime time in front of the entire country, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. And at that point, Houston's probably going to lose their minds. DQ says, we're going to expose them. Watch. Man, I hope so. The Houston Texans defense has made really, really good quarterbacks look bad over the last 2 seasons. DQ brings up Josh Allen. He brings up Jared Goff. I know my man Prescott would disagree that Jared Goff is a good quarterback. And in a lot of ways, he's right, because when it comes to the big moments, he doesn't show up. And the Texans, they seem to have Josh Allen's number. I'm glad they didn't have to play Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson has been our daddy. But I told you guys before that game, I don't care that he didn't play. I'm going to take the win. A win is a win. I don't want to go 1-4. I don't want to start talking about the draft. And that's really how I feel about the rest of the season going forward. I don't care if anybody's at full strength. I don't, at this point, this isn't college football. I don't need style points. I don't need strength of schedule wins. I just need wins. Please give this Houston Texans this Houston Texans team an opportunity to do something they have not done before. I don't think it's too late. I think the Daniel Jones come down has to be inevitable. Honestly, the Jags are winning in spite of Trevor Lawrence. If you watched that game versus the Chiefs, how in the hell the Chiefs lost that game, I do not know. Trevor Lawrence tried to do everything he could to give them that game. It didn't help with in my opinion, a pretty phantom pass interference call at the end there. But I digress. At the end of the day, the Houston Texans just have to take care of their own business. Right now, hoping that they're going to win the division. My man Ruben said it during Twin Toros. Let's just focus on trying to get a wild card. But I did tell him, if you want a wild card spot, you're going to have to pass one of those 2 teams ahead of you. The AFC South is more than likely not putting 3 teams in the playoffs. So you're going to have to catch the Jags or the Colts. The Colts have a wonderful running game, and Daniel Jones is playing out of his mind, and their defense is pretty good too. Jacksonville and Indianapolis, they're good teams, but I feel like they're going to give this Houston Texans team a chance if they can continue to dominate on defense and if they can just be competent on offense and put some points on the board. They're going to have a chance to win each and every game. So that is the Houston Sports State of the Union press briefing. Tonight, I will be doing an entire Houston Sports State of the Union podcast live. I hope you guys will join me for that as well. I want to remind you to please like, follow, subscribe anywhere you get your podcast fix. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody who has done so far this month. I have added almost 40 new subscribers in less than 28 days. I'm being more consistent with my content. I'm putting my stuff out there. I'm working hard to build this brand. I have some good news. We have some live watch parties coming up very, very soon here locally in Deer Park and in other parts of Houston. So I'm really excited about the future of both this show and all the other shows that I'm doing. I thank you guys so much for joining me. Once again, I will see you later this evening. In the meantime, please stay 10 toes down for the H. I love you and good night.